What's going on, everybody? The sun's a little bit in my eyes right now. It's finally coming around to springtime, so we got a couple more days here until spring. I don't think it's gonna warm up just yet, but we are getting there, and I can't wait. I'm sick of winter already. But yeah, the car is really come a long way in the short time that I've had it. I think I've had it for just about a year now. I'm gonna have to check and see how long I've had the car, but I think it's been just under a year, and it's definitely come a long way. I got a couple more things that I want to do to it today that I'll show you guys, but I think I will throw some footage in right now from an alignment that I got, and that was this past weekend, so I think that I'll throw that clip in now. What's going on, guys? So here we are at the actual alignment shop with the car today, and we're gonna get it aligned. Lucky enough to be here at my dad's shop, so they got an alignment rack, so I get this done. Check it out. Might not be able to see the numbers over here. Hold on. Give you guys a better look here. You will know. These are the this is the readout here. This is how far out of spec it is. You can see our camber in the front is about equally out on both sides. Caster's still good, which is one tire ahead of the other. Toe in the front is a little bit off. It's not terrible, but any amount of toe is going to eat up your tires. And then in the back, definitely cambered in more on the left, but the toe is not as bad as I thought it was in the back, so I guess that's good. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and try to get this thing as close to spec as we can. We're gonna get all those red numbers in the green, or as many as we can here. So after trying to align this thing, my dad got it as in spec as he possibly could. Caster was okay. Our toe in the front is now in spec. Good to go, total toe, we're fine. And the toe in the rear is also in spec. So we're looking pretty good there. The only thing is our camber. We're like 2 to 2.5, or like 1.5 to 2.5 degrees out. And apparently the camber in this car is non-adjustable. I wasn't aware of that. So we're not going to be able to really fix the camber. Some people might be fine with that. I'm a little okay with it. I think you can definitely see that there's camber going on here. It doesn't look too bad necessarily, but in my opinion, I'd prefer to fix it just because like I don't want to wear tires out prematurely on the inside corner, but you can almost see that the inside corner has way more contact than the outside, so I don't know, I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on the tires. They do make camber kits for the car, so I may have to look into getting a camber kit in order to actually fix it correctly. But yeah, thanks for your help. So if you saw that footage, then you know that basically this thing is, the toe is good, the toe is pretty good, but the issue is the camber, as I just can't get the camber adjusted because this car does not have adjustable camber. But the camber's not too bad in the front. It's a little more so in the rear. I have the spec sheet inside. I should show you guys that. But there's definitely a little bit of camber in the rear. I could buy a kit from eBay, but my only concern is that you know, I don't want to spend a lot of money on a kit, and to get the nice one, you got to get the one that's the upper control arm, and it actually has an adjustable ball joint mount, and that's how you actually move the ball joint out and adjust the camber out on the top. But I could get just the spacer ones that you bolt the control arm to, which space it away from the actual body itself, but those are known to be cheap and flimsy and come loose and all kinds of stuff. The kit's like 50 bucks. I might do it at some point, but I think for right now I'm just gonna rock the camber because it's not gonna necessarily induce tire wear. The thing about camber is it just unevenly wears your tires. So when your tires wear out, it'll be on the inside corner, you know? So may get a little bit less life because you have less contact patch with the road, and that's my other concern, is less contact patch with the road means, you know, more spinning and less gripping. So, you know, if we actually do want to make this thing go fast, we got to have the most amount of tire hitting the road. And if we're cambered by 2 degrees, you know, the whole corner of the tire is almost not on the ground. So that's something that we also want to factor in, but I'll worry about that later. Today I do have a strut tower bar to put in this thing, so I've been cleaning the garage, and I think we're just about ready to get started here. It was a mess in there, but it's looking much better. So yeah, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this thing in, and we'll go ahead and throw that strut bar on. So, my concern is that when I throw this strut mount on, or the strut tower brace, it's actually going to hit the blow-off valve. So I'm going to need to remove or just loosen these clamps here, and then I'm going to have to rotate this whole assembly this way and make sure that it doesn't hit, or rotate it that way, or, I mean, worst case, like, it hits everywhere. I mean, maybe I could turn this thing upside down in here. That's always a possibility too. And then I don't think that it would be in the way. So I'm gonna have to see what fits. I'm just gonna throw it up there just to see what it looks like. May have to move those vacuum lines over there too. These guys here that go to the EGR control solenoid, which I still have to figure out if this thing's leaking or not. Not really sure, but I don't think so. I'm gonna have to check though, because I still have some sort of like an idle problem. Like if I try to idle at like 750 RPM, it kind of misses and it stumbles a little bit, and the oil pressure is low just because like the idle is stumbly, and like the oil pump is missing spinning when it should be, you know. And I think that's why I have the low oil pressure, because I kind of have it compensated now to idle at like 1,000 RPMs, and when it idles at 1,000 RPMs, the oil pressure is like 20 psi. It's great, but obviously, you know, we have a bit of a high idle. But I think the pressure's low because it's stumbling, and I'd like to fix the stumble too, because it doesn't sound good. Like the car doesn't sound like it's running good, so I gotta figure out what that stumbling is. I think it could be a vacuum leak. It's like it's a miss at idle, you know, it misfires. So I gotta figure that out. I think the plugs are good. I might check them. But yeah, all in all, it's going well. Car's running great. I really have no complaints. The oil is just, you know, sitting steady. I'm gonna check it right now. It's been a couple of days, but try to check it after every time I drive it, just so I know. Got to be careful with these sorts of things. You don't want to blow it up. So here we have our strut tower brace, and this is Megan Racing here. So I think this is legit. I paid decent money for it on eBay. I think it was $60. Seems pretty solid. The welds look better than I can do, but definitely not the best, but you know, it seems pretty nice. So what they want you to do is, I think, fit these brackets on there with this thing not attached, and then hold this up to it and measure the thread count basically, and then take the whole thing off, thread it to what it's got to be, and then put it on. You got to make sure your car's on a level surface, and that you know, your strut towers are level, because you're basically locking these two strut towers in together. So that's kind of the idea here. So you put it together at the correct width, and then you actually lock these onto it, and it locks this bar in place, and then it should disperse the force when you're going around a corner and one strut tower wants to jump up. it'll actually disperse that force to the other strut tower, and then they'll both be combined and dissipate that force. So it's supposed to make the car a lot stiffer in the corners. So hopefully it works. I'll give you guys a test once I actually get it installed, but for right now I'm going to go ahead and I guess take it apart. I'll do it like they want. I'll take it apart and we'll measure exactly how many threads we need to be screwed in, and then we'll reassemble it and throw it on. So I did just go try to test fit it, and sure enough, the blow-off valve is right in the way like I thought it would be. So what I'm going to try to do is loosen this clamp, and then hopefully I can break this thing loose and rotate it down, and we'll see if we can get it to sit somewhere where it's not in the way. Alright, so I'm just running a test fit here, and I went ahead and turned the blow-off valve down here. I don't know, maybe I do kind of like how it looks down there. It doesn't look that bad. I liked it up top, but kind of tucks it away now. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb anymore. I kind of like it actually. And yeah, so I was just test fitting this in there. I didn't do what I was supposed to yet, because these brackets are clearly not sitting flat and all that stuff. So I'm going to do that now, but it does look like it fits. These vacuum lines aren't too bad. They're hitting it, but they're not going to be in the way. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, take it apart and throw the brackets on. Alright, so what I did was I just threw one nut on there just to hold the bracket steady. I did it on both sides. And then I threw this bar on top, and I put the nut right where it meets. And then on this side, I did the same thing. So if I take this part and tighten it to right there, this thing should drop right in the slot and be all properly aligned. That's the theory. We'll see how it goes in practice. Alright, so that method kind of didn't work very good at all. So what I ended up doing was putting these two outside nuts in, and then as I tighten this one down, I would just check which way I could spin this to make it feel looser. Because like one of these is actually reverse thread and the other one is regular thread. So when you spin this, they both push out, or when you spin it this way, they both push in. So I think this is right about where I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to go ahead and crank this one tight, this one, and then I'll do these two too, which are Allen's on the other side. Maybe I should have faced those forward, because that might have looked better. Oh well, doesn't really matter. I could still pull it out and redo it, but yeah, either way, looks pretty sweet. It says Megan Racing on it, covers up the ugly throttle cable, so I like that. But yeah. As far as handling, I'm not really sure. We'll see if we see any benefits here. But yeah, I'm going to crank this thing pretty tight in there, which I already have, just to make sure that, you know, we're pushing out enough on our struts. Maybe that one might be good, because then there's definitely some tension that we're pushing out on the actual struts themselves. So we'll just crank this down, crank the other one down, and we should be good to go. But yeah, so that is the strut bar install. Not as bad as I thought. Alright, so I got everything tightened down, and this thing, honestly, pretty sturdy. Could play it like an instrument. It's under some tension, that's for sure. But honestly, this moves the whole car. This thing is much more rigid than I thought it was going to be. It is machined aluminum and everything, but yeah, looks good, and hopefully it helps out a little bit. I could turn it straight up and down, I suppose, but I kind of like it facing forward like that. I don't really think that it matters structurally where, you know, which direction it faces. I think it's going to do the same thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If I should face it up and down or facing straight up. See, from the side it looks weird to me, but oh well. So another thing that I just got is these lights right here. So these are pretty cool. They're going to replace the factory orange ones down here, because these look like garbage. So I'm going to change them out for some clear ones. And I got LEDs coming for the turn signals down there too. So we'll be all LED'd up in the front. We just got to work our way around back with the LEDs. I think I already have LEDs in these side markers. I have them in the brake and tails, but I don't have reverse or turns back here. But turn signals get a little bit more complicated because they're going to be wiring up a load resistor, but I'm going to show you guys that, but that will be a separate video. My bulbs are coming in tomorrow, so expect that in the next few days. But yeah, when I throw these guys right here in, I will show you guys how to wire up the load resistor so you don't get the annoying hyper flash. Hyper flash is when your blinker flashes like twice as fast as it normally does because the circuit is acting like it doesn't have a bulb, because LEDs draw such a low amount of current that they don't actually, you know, make an appearance in the circuit. Basically, it doesn't register as resistance, so it thinks that you have a bulb out. So therefore, got to fix that, and you basically wire in a resistor that acts as like a dummy bulb. And so I've wired in plenty of these load resistors. It's very easy. You just wire it in parallel with your positive and negative. So I'll show you guys all that. We'll try to tuck it out of the way. Should be able to keep it in the bumper. But yeah, so that's coming next. And I got a front lip coming too. So look forward to all those things. I'm pretty pumped. That strut bar, it looks great. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace out.